Welcome to another edition of the Corner Booth Podcast here from the Snowdon Deli. I'm Aaron Rand from CJAD along with Bill Brownstein of the Montreal Gazette. And our special guest today, this is our Just for Laughs edition, Sylvain Parent-Bédard, President and CEO of Just for Laughs, and Nick Brazao, who's in charge of programming and talent for Just for Laughs. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So we are just about a week away from Just for Laughs for 2025. A lot of people wondered, first of all, given what's happened in the past with Just for Laughs, with whether be able to pull this together. You've managed to do it. I think maybe just people who don't know who you are, Sylvain. You've been involved in comedy for a long time, but not in Montreal, in Quebec City. So background, history-wise, how'd you end up at JFL?
I've been in the comedy business for about, I would say, 30 years. I've launched my own festival in Quebec City about 30 years ago, called Grand Rire and then ComediHa. So I've worked mainly in the francophonie over the world, France, Belgium, Switzerland, Quebec, French Canada. And I always wanted to work in the Anglophonie also. But it is a different market, different network. So with Nick and the team now at Just for Laughs, this is a kind of dream coming true for me, for my team from Quebec City, although it came through a bad situation or a sad situation, I would say, that happened last year with Just for Laughs. But now I think we've managed to bring it back on track, and this is something new, and we are going to try to bring our culture, our value, and our way of seeing kind of business or comedy festival to Just for Laughs in Montreal.
But Sylvain, it's more than just taking over. People thought it had given up Just for Laughs for dead. And about 15 months ago, basically, it went bankrupt, and nobody saw any hope coming whatsoever. And out of the blue, basically, you came and you salvaged this, based on your ComediHa experience and all the rest. But it could have been a total disaster, but the miracle was that you guys were able to put together something last year. You had like a couple of weeks and to put something together, but this time around you guys have had basically close to a year, Nick and all the rest, to come up with something. And it's not just Montreal, by the way. People forget Just for Laughs is across Canada. It's in Toronto, it's Vancouver, it's in Bermuda, it's in Sydney, Australia, and everything else. It's traveling shows. It's a massive undertaking, and yet you're still calm. What do we got for this year?
Yeah, it is a massive undertaking, but we want to do it with humility, resilience, because it's not easy. This is a lot of work. And thanks to the GFL team who used to be there, who has built this great Canadian institution, and thanks to Nick and the programming team.
Right.
So Nick is able to talk to you about what we're doing this summer, because
I'm curious.
I think it's quite amazing what they have pulled together.
You're the new guy on the block as far as the English JFL is concerned. Nick, you've been doing this, the programming part, for close to 10 years?
15 years,
15 years?
Started in 2009.
So to Bill's point, when this went downhill with the original team, you stuck around, and now you're working with Sylvain. Was it difficult to get people back on board talent-wise? Because that's what you do. Who saw what happened to Just for Laughs. You declare a company bankrupt. A lot of people just want to back off and don't really want to have anything to do with you. How hard was that?
I think there's been overall mostly excitement at the news that it's coming back. I think that's kind of a testament to the power of the Just for Laughs brand and the Just for Laughs institution being built over 42 years. I was there for 15 of them before this year. For sure, it took a lot of, it's been a long year. I signed back on in July of last year, so we've just hit the 1 year mark of, Sylvain bought the company in June, and then, had to understand all the things that he had purchased and the people that had worked there before and understand the English world. So it's like we did a lot of traveling this year to go back out to all of the people that have been stakeholders in particularly the Montreal Festival. It's really the cornerstone. You mentioned Vancouver, you mentioned Sydney, you mentioned Toronto. None of those things happen without it starting in Montreal, and without Montreal being the gathering place every July. So to get back to that point, it's been a lot of communicating the truth from the headlines, understanding who Sylvain is, why he would buy a company like that, what our goal is in a new version of it, what are the opportunities, what are the challenges. Of course, there's challenges when you go through something like a bankruptcy, on a bunch of levels, and having to explain to people that, Sylvain had nothing to do with the old guard, and that it's us with really a clean slate and a powerful brand, really, to try to do something new and he talks a lot about creating a new recipe, which I think is, what we're really trying to instill. And it's been a lot of work. It's been a labor of love. I think there's a lot of dedicated teammates that contribute to it. But overall, I'd say there's more people that are very excited to be back, but it has taken some explaining and some travel and some getting out to the people to really explain that we're back and we're...
And also, we should point out that you worked under the tutelage of one of the great comedy hound dogs of all time, Robbie Pra, who's now head of Netflix's live comedy division. So he has good sources in the business, which is, I imagine, very helpful, because you were able to go back, and a lot of these people that you were involved in programming in festivals past. But I know that this year, Sylvain, you're very pumped. So pumped, in fact, that for the galas where you've got the likes of Mikey Day and Roy Wood Jr. going to be appearing around the 26th and 27th of July, you are offering a
25th and 26th.
25th and 26th. You're offering a money-back guarantee if customers are not happy. Why are you doing this? It's a very fickle crowd in Montreal.
Yeah, many reasons. First of all, I think it is important to porter un geste, to make something with the Anglophone community who has built this brand and who can have maybe some question mark about what we are doing this year, and to prove that we are really secure about the programming that we have done. I know that people are going to laugh. I know that people are going to have fun, and those galas are a kind of the cornerstone also of the festival, with many talent, different kind of comedy. So we are so confident about it that I wanted to make a kind of, do we say gesture? To be close to the Anglophone community and say that we are proud of what we have built, we are proud about what we are coming back to, and I wanted to make a gesture to prove that if they come, they are going to have fun.
The Corner Booth podcast is brought to you in part by the Snowdon Delicatessen, where we are. 75 years in business, the hub of Montreal's greatest smoked meat, plus Carnotzel, potato latkes, and the famous Snowdon Deli party sandwiches. That's the Snowdon Delicatessen. Did you have to do this kind of thing? You said you've been doing this for 30 years in Quebec City, etc. Was it difficult to launch in Quebec City as a French-only comedy festival before you started taking it around the world?
Yeah.
Did you have to prove to people there that it would work?
In fact, it was strange because I wanted to do Just for Laughs comedy festival in French in Quebec City. I came to Just for Laughs 30 years ago asking to do a kind of Quebec City festival, and it was not possible at that time. So when I launched, it's a strange thing, but when I launched it, Quebec City citizens were so proud of having their own comedy festival that they all participated right away. The gala were full, the outdoor stage was full also at the first edition. It has been hard to reach the international Francophone market, but the Quebec City one has been quite, I would say not easy, but almost easy.
You know, Bill brought something interesting up. So you mentioned Robbie Pra. So Netflix, now a big player in the comedy business. I'm wondering from a talent perspective, programming perspective, with a company like Netflix that has such deep pockets and can put together and offer obviously a comedian a whole lot more money,
Right.
How difficult has that made your job trying to attract, big name comics to come play here again?
I think that it's a different proposition. I think that the fact that comedy has become so popular and so consumed by so many people is overall a very good thing. 15 years ago when I started, I feel like comedy, even though it was still very popular, is still quite niche. People that were consuming comedy specials, people that were finding it, you weren't finding it in the same way on social media and things like that. So Netflix being able to be a huge company to put comedians on platforms and pay them commensurately, I think is ultimately a good thing. Comedy festival budgets and business models are tricky. You're trying to sell a bunch of comedians within a condensed time period. You're trying to ask all of those comedians to come at the time when you want them there because you're doing the festival, not necessarily when it fits in with their touring schedules. At the same time, I think in the last 15 years, you've seen comedians elevate from comedy clubs and small theaters to arenas and stadiums. You know what I mean? So it's like the business of that model has totally changed. So I would say that we're more challenged by the Canadian dollar, by taxes in Canada, by economic things like that.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, aren't we all? Well, those are more challenging than necessarily. I think Netflix being a powerful comedy force, having a festival of their own every 2 years, being able to create a lot of content out of that ultimately is a good thing. Does that change, the dynamics of how much people will possibly ask for in order to do Canadian? When I don't want to get to bore people with, rights and asks and things like that with televised comedy properties. For sure, it affects the model overall, and it affect the business across the U.S. and Comedy Central and HBO and Amazon and the different players that are in that space. The beauty of Montreal is we invite all of them to our festival.
Right. And
a Netflix festival is, a huge beast. It's a wonderful thing.
But
I've
it's
been
all
to
over
it.
town. Basically, it's in dozens of venues. Whereas,
it takes over LA. It's
Right.
a really impressive thing. I mean, it's a testament to all those people that work on it. And
you speak to comedians who come here, and it's like they have one central base where the hotel is, and it's like comedy camp for them. And it's still the world's biggest comedy showcase. Netflix, to its credit, and they are able to offer streaming services. But I think it's a different vibe here because the comedians here interact. Every time you speak to them, they have as much fun entertaining each other as they do entertaining audiences.
Yeah. I think with any festival, it's really trying to embrace the DNA of that city, the DNA of that festival. The challenge and the beauty of Just for Laughs is that it is an international facing festival that takes place in Montreal. So there are a lot of the biggest stars in La Francophonie that live here that make it maybe easier for Sylvain and Jose and our counterparts on the JPR side of things to be able to pull off some things of magnitude and scale. For us, finding ways to spotlight local Montrealers, finding ways to spotlight Canadians and be able to bring them in, and finding ways to attract people from elsewhere. If you do a festival in LA and all of Hollywood lives in LA, you can do a celebrity golf tournament. You can do so many events because it's, hey, can you drive from your house where you live? We only need 2 hours of your time. If we need to bring somebody in a day before their show in order to make it happen, it's logistically for sure makes it more challenging.
Maybe you should do a celebrity pickleball tournament or something.
Pickleball might be that enticing. That's the hook for the people that we're maybe missing out on. But no, I think it's layered complexities. But the challenge and the beauty of Just for Laughs in Montreal is that it takes that challenge on and it welcomes everybody here, and it has been that gathering point for everybody to come out. And Steve Martin has called it the Mecca of comedy on the stage in Montreal, and it's true. And I think that trying to encapsulate that feeling and recreate it every year is what keeps the fans coming back and what keeps you to surely purchase the festival. I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah.
And it keeps me coming back to.
I think back to JFL and how many they talk about people who were broken here. When I say broken, who became famous, if you will, by having played at Just for Laughs. And obviously, when that happens, someone else is coming up would like to have the same opportunity. Think this would be great for me. Do you still see that? Is that excitement about coming here still there?
Yeah.
Especially for young comics.
Absolutely. I mean, the new faces of comedy. God bless the people that started it back in the day, and I think it was, full shout out to Bruce Hills and Willie Mercer and Evie Regev and Robbie and the people before myself that have booked that and started it, and to have Patton Oswalt and Kevin Hart and Amy Schumer and Nikki Glazer, and the fact that you can go into comedy clubs literally around the world and they refer to Montreal. When they say Montreal, they mean Just for Laughs. And it's such a special thing, and it's such a rite of passage for stand-up comedians, and it's an honor to be able to have that, to sit in the seat, to invite people to the festival, and we just finished making our New Faces calls, and we're going to announce them on July 21st. And it's like, it's our favorite part of doing it, and it really is the like R&D of the festival, and you know, I think is still a meaningful platform in a changing landscape.
Where do you find that talent?
All over the place. Video submissions. I mean, the digital world has made it a lot easier to find people from literally anywhere,
Right.
because you can film yourself on a phone and you can send it in. So that's made the accessibility of it. We do extensive scouting throughout the U.S. We went all over Canada from coast to coast and do, you know, shows in virtually all the cities that have comedians performing in them. And we've done showcases in Sydney and Melbourne and LA. And like this year, because we're restarting from scratch, more of the rest of world stuff has been video submission. But yeah, we cull through that starting in January all the way until now.
But that said, I mean, you know, we've had the Seinfelds who've broken here. We've had the Kevin Harts, Amy Schumers, and all the rest. It's evolved totally. We've talked about this. Comedy has so changed in the last 20 years. There's a whole group of new comedians that a lot of Montrealers have never heard of, and you have the fun of kind of uncovering some of this talent. Who would you suggest to our viewers, like, to check out, like, in terms of those who might break out and they're not familiar with them?
I would say that, you know, I just mentioned New Faces of Comedy, being able to go to those shows that happen from the 23rd to the 26th. We run each group of them twice. We're picking 30 different stand-ups and 8 solo sketch acts, and each person will get 2 shows. So that's like a tasting menu of the up-and-coming talent. I think that's a really great showcase to discover people. There's going to be a Variety 10 Comics to Watch showcase on Friday the 25th at Club Soda at 9:30, and that's sort of like kind of the next rung above New Faces in terms of they're coming out with a list that'll get announced on the 17th of July. And that whole showcase will happen at the festival. And then I think within all of our galas, our club shows, the Culture Show, and the Nasty Show, I mean, there's really like Andrea Jin. People should know Dave Merhej. They're both on the Culture Show. Frankie Quinones is he's a former New Face creator the first year that we did that in like 2017, 2018. He's back on the Culture Show. On the Nasty Show, someone like Amos Gill, I think people may or may not be familiar. He does a podcast with Jim Jeffries, and they're very close. He's from Australia. I mean, he's somebody that I think is really primed.
And there's a new host. Their new host.
New host, Che Durena, who's a Canadian that's based in the U.S. these days, and he's hosting the Nasty Show. And we've got Asif Ali. If anybody's watching Deli Boys on Disney Plus, he's one of the co-stars of that show. And so it's like an evolution of the classic staples of what I think Montrealers would have come to love, and those are a really good opportunity to get exposed to some new people. And a lot of those comics will also have their own hour shows throughout the festival. So if you come and see 10 minutes of somebody that you liked on the Culture Show or the British Show or the Nasty Show, chances are you'll find they have their full hour-long show somewhere, you know, later on in the run.
Okay, so now that you've run through the entire lineup, Nick, let's go back.
That was a fraction
Yeah.
of it, Aaron. Thank you very much. We did a whole lot of work. Let's not minimize the last year of our
Gaylas.
life.
People always, I mean, for a lot of people who maybe not necessarily that into comedy and know some of the New Faces, the Gaylas are always the big events at Just for Laughs. You want to run down what's coming up in the Gaylas?
Yeah, so July 25th and 26th, there's going to be 2 galas per night. 6:30 p.m. on the Friday is Roy Wood Jr. 9:30 p.m. on the Friday is Michelle Buteau. Saturday, 6:30 is Fortune Feimster. And then Saturday night, 9:30 is Mikey Day from SNL. And each of those lineups has 8 comedians from around the world on it. It's really star-studded. We're so happy. I mean, Sylvain obviously was confident enough to give
Money back guarantee
on those shows. So I think those are, you know, part of the crown jewel of what Just for Laughs has been over the years, and we're incredibly excited to have, you know, our partnership with CBC that allows us to bring those shows back, and you know, they can be a relevant platform in the festival for the live viewing audience, and then later on we'll live.
And what about the T-shirt tosser? Is he coming back?
I don't. I feel like there will probably be different elements to this year's. So I'll throw a T-shirt at you
for the money back guarantee, which obviously we mentioned off the top. Do you have to provide a written explanation of why you want your money back after having been to a gala?
We have a process that is on the website. It's just You just have to say that you didn't like it, and it was not up to the
Really?
yeah.
That's
and
it?
That's it. Yeah, we are
Okay.
confident that people are going to be honest about it. Also, we trust our fan, we trust our crowd, as I trust the programming stuff. So no, there's not really anything to do rather than writing down that you were not satisfied with the live.
So, Nick, how much are you expecting to pay back after people actually come in and ask for refunds?
It's coming directly out
Apparently
of
it's coming out of your
Sylvain's,
pocket,
line item.
One thing you're not going to have to worry, you have the free outdoor shows. And the outdoor component, would you say what percentage of that is of Just for Laughs?
We're doing like 60-40 French-English kind of thing. So we're doing a bilingual show. We've got Adam Ray doing his Dr. Phil live character. We've got Puddle's Pity Party, which is in English. And then we've got a bilingual show on the Friday night. And then there's a bunch of French language programming as well.
Are we expecting any big announcements, name announcements prior to the festival?
In between now and I think we just announced today Nate Jackson. If anybody's paying attention to Netflix, he just had a special drop today. He's got a solo show at MTELUS. And then again, at this point, it's more letting people know as many of the lineups as we can. We've announced all of the full gala lineups that are on the website, so you can actually see, in addition to Roy Wood Jr., the 8 people that are on it. The Variety 10 lineup will be announced after July 17th. Our new faces come out on the 21st, so it's really being able to go out and discover that. And people may not have seen the announcements yet, so going to the website and seeing all the
and
shows.
if push comes to shove, you can use Nick, because in a previous life he was a stand-up comic.
Yeah,
so
I know.
That's our
if,
fallback,
like if you're
yeah,
running
sure.
short,
That's why I do the whole thing. Is
Yeah.
I'm just dying for that opportunity. To
Yeah,
put me in
I
coach.
bet you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
We're going to have to wrap up. I want to just ask Sylvain before we go, in terms of a challenge.
Yeah.
So you run a comedy festival in Quebec City. You know what you're doing. You know how the thing works. Then you come to Montreal. You see the festival here. What was the biggest challenge at the outset when you said, I want to do this? It should be easy. Was it easy?
No, it wasn't. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of resilience, a lot of humility, and also a lot of. I have to learn a lot. I didn't know. I knew that Just for Laughs was big, was great, and well known around the world, but it is a lot bigger than I thought. And it is a lot more important than I thought for the industry and the comedy community. We've been to Los Angeles a few times. We've been to Sydney. We've been to London, to New York, to Vancouver. And I was so surprised how much that people and comedians want to be picked to come in Montreal, especially the new faces. Still, the manager and the agent, every time I went with Nick to meet them, to introduce myself and to introduce the new way of working, the new company also. They all wanted to sign kind of a deal. Now I want to be in the new faces. I want this talent to be in the new faces. I'm looking forward to be there again. How much they missed it a lot last year, and how much it was important to come back. So to know, to learn about all of that at the same time in 9 months. I haven't been home in the last 9 months. It's a great challenge, but it's a new playground for me. It's a new playground for my old team, and it's a great thing to learn and to work all together to bring back this great institution, Canadian institution in Montreal, as a level that it has to be now.
You know, just as I hear you say that, I think to myself, so here you are learning the new business or the new venture.
Yeah.
And you're talking about meeting people, and they want to come here.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to convince them, hey, I'm the new guy, it's going to be okay. No, we know Montreal, we want to come. That's what you found from most people?
A lot of them, most of the people. For sure, some are
skeptical.
Skeptical, yeah.
skeptical, yeah, because the company had a problem. But it is such a great summer camp. This is one of the only place where they can meet all together in the world, chat, having fun, doing their also their job, if I can say so.
Yeah.
So yeah, they want to come. Most of them want to come. Some are a bit skeptical, but with what we are doing this year, and the plan wasn't to do it in 1 year. The plan, it's a 1, 2, 3 years plan to come back as we would like to be. We have to be honest. We have a vision, and we have to work very hard for that. And we think that with the comedian, with the team, with the government, the sponsor, and especially the fan who had been there for 40 years, we are going to build it back on a great way.
Were you ever a big comedy guy to begin with? Did you play?
Yes.
I thought so.
If I played?
Yeah.
No, I
But-
never. But I remember me having 17 years old. I was on the phone. You remember the previous phone when you have to the touch phone?
Yeah.
I was on the phone when Just for Laughs went on sale. I remember being on the phone at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, to be sure that I would get some tickets to be able to come to Montreal from Quebec City. So I'm a great fan, and I mix it with my entrepreneurship, if I can say so. So I like comedy. I love comedy. And I do comedy first, not for the business, because I like it. There's a part of business for sure, but I'm really a big fan of it.
We're going to leave it at that. I want to thank you both. Wish you good luck, by the way.
Yeah.
So again, July 17th to 26th.
16th to 27th.
Close enough.
Close.
Very good. If you
One
come for
day,
the 10 days
just
in the middle,
one
that's
day.
good too.
Nick Brazao, Sylvain Parent-Bédard, thank you so much. Best of luck this year for Just
Thank
for
you very
Laughs, and
much,
we will
guys.
see you
Thank you.
again
Thank
soon
you for
on the
having
next edition of the Corner Booth Podcast.